Hey Gameheads, it's April, so from me to you, a happy new month. And what better way to start a new month than to talk about offline games? And before we begin, I would like to say thank you for all your support. Let's continue on our way to 1,500 subs, shall we? So without wasting much of your time, let's just dive straight into the video. Let's start with Triglav, a immersive looking hack and slash game that reminds me of the old school RPGs, a mix between Baldur's Gate and Diablo. It's a roguelike where you are tasked with climbing to the top of a 50th floor tower where the princess is captured by searching for keys that open the door to the next floor, solving puzzles and hunting monsters in the process. There are also 3 melee classes that tether towards a damage absorbing tanker, a high damage rogue, and a specialist type. You on the other hand have to build up your unique character using a limited inventory and the endless possible combinations that over 300 items can bring. Although this one is relatively old, it gives off that very premium vibes even though it's apparently free. Triglav is on all mobile platforms and like I said, it's free. International Missions is next, a good looking side-scrolling shooter sprinkled with clever puzzle elements. Your job is to clear levels solving puzzles by using the environment, shooting down enemies with an array of given guns while avoiding the slightest of damage because you will die. This is also an old one, removed from the Play Store because it isn't technically compatible with my Android version, but like most games that have that label, it still runs amicably and is a fun time also. So if you are into action side-scrolling games with short missions that test your skills, go ahead and check this one out, it's free. The last game is next, an action-filled 1 vs all roguelike shooter where you delve into dungeons, clearing sections of the map to move on to the next section. The last game is anything but new in the roguelike world, but what it lacks for a uniqueness, it makes up for in its self-aware humor, both in gameplay and story. There are also over 100 different items that can create powerful synergies, 10 unique characters, and also local co-op with up to 4 friends. And all in all, the combat looks fun as hell as well as quite hilarious. And if you feel the same way, it's on Android and iOS for a price. Striking things forward with Backyard Baseball, a remake of a classic baseball game bringing all its iconic characters as well as fun gameplay back. I personally haven't even heard of the Backyard Baseball franchise before the video, shout out to my bro for the suggestion, but it's apparently a beloved series that a lot of people played in their childhood. It has all that baseball action without any restricting rules, allowing for some over the top wacky gameplay. I personally have little information about the sport as a whole, but the word on the street is that it's a must-have for fans of both the sport and the franchise. And as a bonus, it's made with love from the fans of the series who built the game from scratch. Anyway, it's dope looking and is paid and on all mobile platforms. Let's continue with a nice looking tower defense title by the name Nightfall King. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very artsy. The fact that it's literally everywhere on the Play Store doesn't help that notion as well. But I've played it and it's not quite bad. The graphics are nice and the gameplay loop is bearable. You play as a king fighting off enemies that come in waves, using the rewards after to develop your town across several maps, having their own biomes and whatnot. I will say that the incentive for spending cash is there, which is true for most free titles, but honestly it looks well polished and the town building simulation and tower defense isn't that bad, although I'm speaking from a haven't played for long standpoint. If you're interested, like I said, it's free and on all mobile platforms. Let's continue with a fun little surprise I got this week, the release of Duck Detective, a point and click detective style adventure game where you play as a down and very out of luck Doc Eugene McPartlin, coping with a difficult divorce and the means to pay his rent. To solve the monetary issue, he will have to solve cozy little mysteries using his deductive skills. There are a lot of dog-themed puns in this game. As someone who has played the demo, it's a fun ride. The graphics, the voice acting and humor is all quite premium, and detective skills are quite on point. For those who are interested in this quacking mystery, it's available on all wide platforms with a free demo. Next up is another interesting roguelike that's also a town builder set in a grid world. Here you are tasked with expanding your world by building an exploration. You lead a group of settlers into the unknown by building a thriving colony in an uncharted land filled with mystery and danger. Manage scarce resources, make tough decisions, and shape your settlement's fate. Each grid represents an opportunity to build farms for food, houses for citizens, mines for gear, and much more, all while obeying a night and day cycle that sees you feeding your citizens by the end of the day. I played a free demo and it's quite an interesting one, and I would highly recommend. Townsfolk is available on Android and iOS with a free demo. Let's continue with The Throne, a good looking pixel Metroidvania where you must free the kingdom occupied by the fearsome orc leader Bodrak. You play as Edda, in search of a key to the throne room, which perhaps is also the key to saving the kingdom. The game looks quite simple, but in a good way. You explore the labyrinthine castle, unlocking new abilities in the form of magical gear that allows you to backtrack and explore more areas of the map. It looks okay, to be honest, not too excited for it, but can't dismiss its potential as well. And if you fall at that letter, go check it out. It's an Android only game and it's paid. Next up is a downright gorgeous side-scrolling hack-and-slash action RPG, Eastern Exorcist. You don't get much of these games anymore on mobile. Set in a fantasy Eastern world with the vicious spirits and monsters, you play as a skilled exorcist battling against chaotic evil in this brutal world. It's supposedly quite heavily story driven with breathtaking visuals and a good combat system with over 25 bosses to keep things, interesting. I discovered this gem a few days back and it looks incredible, and although it's not available on the App Store, you can get it on the TapTap or the Epic Store. Whether it's paid or free is still very much a mystery to me, that is as I'm writing this script. Anyway, I will still check it and give you a response. Closing things out with, you guessed it, Crashlands 2. The delightful survival RPG is back, bigger, funnier, and much more wackier. The game still follows our initial protagonist, Flux Davis, as she returns to the planet Wano for a much-needed vacation after finally quitting the intergalactic beauty of shipping, which is weird because I thought she did so in the first game, only for another mysterious blast from the planet's surface to send them crashing into new lands, far from friends and alone in an alien wilderness. I got it the day it got released and I'm enjoying every second of it. It's a lot more colorful with a lot more craftable, new wildlife, familiar race of NPCs as well as new ones, but the same old humor bumped up all the way to 11. I won't go deep into the game analysis, you will have to wait for the actual review for that, but it's definitely a game by Butterscotch Shenanigans. Anyway, Crashlands 2 is available for Android and iOS for a price. Anyway, that's the end of today's list. Were you able to find any game that you will be playing? Let me know in the comment section. I wish you a happy Easter in advance in case I'm not able to make a video before Easter. Thank you so much for watching. It's your host P-Dog and I will see you in the next one. I'm out though.